It's time. We're live. Welcome to the B feed.
Had it.
So overnight, the auctions went up a little bit by $2,200 at least. I was waiting for an update, but I haven't gotten an update yet. So if anybody hasn't gone and checked it out, there is a lot of stuff still at very low bids. Let's see. Let me share the screen so that we can show off some of the auctions. The lot 1 is still at a low price for the com badge out of Region 20, $2.75. We got the Zach Design Star Trek 15-ounce mug with Spock on it at $15. Janeway's figure is at $25.50. 7 of 9 is at $5. We got a Canadian Star Trek stamp collection, it looks like, at $20.40. A handcrafted glass sun catcher at $25. And the model set for the Grim, I think it's a Grism and the Klingon bird of prey for $25 and a few other things. The com badge that was being fought over last night is up to $80. The Star Trek Picard 2 Admiral's magnet badge, that one's up to $80. The blueprints popped up. You got DS9 at $23. The Galaxy class, the Enterprise D is at $9. The E is at $11.25. And Voyager's at $7.25, and the Defiant is at $14. And Jeremy wants that bat'leth really bad. If you bump it up a little bit more, I'm sure he'll keep bidding on it. It's at $340 right now. Couple of the Pet Fleet style pictures. We got a Sith cat at $350. The Spock Chihuahua, it says cat, but it looks more like a Chihuahua to me, is at $725. The Picard cat print is at $1075. Right now, these two were handcrafted tribal arts by one of the VIC workers. The one is at $1, and the other one hasn't been bid on. We got some lots, another set of badges at $20 from Region 20. The Deep Space Nine Nebula painting, 12-inch, is at $40. And it looks like Walking Tour of Dublin, Ireland is at $13. I wouldn't mind going over there. The Enterprise lithogram coasters at $25.50. Different uniforms are anywhere from $5 to, I think I saw one at $77. So you just have to look at them and check those out. The backpack is at $100. We got a couple, looks like Micro Machine type Star Trek things.
Alliance.
The Star Trek Alliance Dominion one is at $375. Space Stock Brigham pin, $525. The website made by Jeremy and somebody else is at $65. A Star Trek costumes book is at $21.50. The space painting from Region 3 is at $10. The Bajoran earrings at $16.50. Couple Trek hats. One's at $5.25 and one's at $1 bid right now. You got the Hallmark set of 3 different ornaments up here, 3 different lots. One's at $5, one's at $10, and one's at $8. So if you got a Christmas tree, I believe those plug in and make a sound on your Christmas tree. Then there's the professional stepped chapter build by the same gentleman, I believe it's Randy, that built the VIC webpage. It's at $6, but each tier adds something else that he'll add to the package. You got a bunch of different lots of books, and they range anywhere from $0 on some of them to $15.50. So check out those different books if you're interested. So what I'm trying to do before we start, we got a couple minutes. I'm just going over all the different lots so that people that didn't see them last night can check them out. There's a Micro Machine Deep Space Nine set at $15.50. Like I said, there's a couple Voyager novels that are still yet to bid on. There's some set of 2 stereoscope 3D prints that haven't been bid on. The big painting that was introduced earlier, the watercolor, is at $400 right now. Got a Micro Machines Star Trek limited editions at $20.50. A couple of Tard paintings. One's at $5. One's not been bid on. Score Bunny digital art. I don't know what that's from, but it hasn't been bid on. I think it's an anime. And we got another custom badge here at $5.25. London, England Museum Tour with lunch. So far, nobody's bid on that. Bar Crawl Walking Tour of Charleston, South Carolina, $12.50. Autographed All Colleen Detroit Tigers hasn't been bid on. Autographed Chris Shellis Detroit Red Wings. That looks like a card. Autographed Bob Gray of the Michigan Wolverines picture. That hasn't been bid on. We got no bids on the 100 Sailboats by Christine Poynton. And the next one, it looks like $10 straight across the board for the chainmail handmade necklaces and Celtic Star Weave knot. $6.25 for the Star Trek coasters. We got a Star Trek manual that's at $10. Star Trek technical manual, another one. So I think the one is an older one.
Next Generation, and one is the original series.
Yeah, at $20. And then we got the Encyclopedia of Star Trek at $10.75. Star Trek Reader at $1.75. And at $3.50 we have Inside Trek, the real story, and then Shatner's book Memories at $5. So check out the thing. This all goes to the scholarship fund, and if we hit $2,500, my hair gets buzz cut. So, huh?
Makes it to 5. Aaron said should shave hers.
I heard Aaron say that if it makes it to 5, she shaves her head too.
So let's get it to 6, guys. We'll watch everybody get a buzz cut.
In a minute, the programming for the B feed will start up. I'm just getting it refreshed to see if it's going yet on YouTube for the first item. And away it goes. So enjoy.
and thanks for joining us. Today we're going to talk about the Klingon language, everything from the real-world linguistic science that went into creating Klingon, to the sounds of Klingon, the grammar of Klingon, and even some of the backstory of how the Klingon language came to be the way that we know it now. My name is Tracy Canfield. My Klingon name is Yichatna, although as you can see in the picture, I'm not myself a Klingon. And I'm the CEO of the USS Indiana up here in Indianapolis in Region 1. I have a PhD in computational linguistics, which is the branch of linguistics that uses computers to work with human languages. And I was called a Klingon scholar by CNN because if you ever get out to the Jenolan Caves in Australia and you hear their Klingon audio tour, I'm the voice actor on that. Yichatna is Klingon, and it means initially we weren't sure what this was, but on further inspection it proved to be a truly enormous tribble. Mark Okrand is the linguist who created the Klingon language. That's him over on the right. And it wasn't actually his first Star Trek project. He had worked on The Wrath of Khan. There's a scene in The Wrath of Khan where Saavik and Spock speak to each other in Vulcan. But that scene was actually originally shot in English. It was only after it was filmed that somebody said, wouldn't it make more sense for these two Vulcans to be speaking to each other in Vulcan? Now, it's less expensive to call the actors back in to re-record the dialogue than it is to reshoot the whole scene. So they hoped to change these audio and have it be in Vulcan, but they needed to make sure that whatever the actors were saying matched the lip movements that the audience could see on the screen. Because when there's a mismatch between the lips and the sound, it's kind of like when you're watching a badly dubbed movie. Things seem a little off. So Mark Okrand was brought in to come up with sounds where the part of the vocal tract, the organs that we use to speak, that you can't see might be doing different things, but what we can see on the lips was the same. And he used this to create Vulcan dialogue that could be matched perfectly to what we see on screen, and that's the Vulcan dialogue that we hear there. Okrand said afterwards, well, I taught Mr. Spock how to speak Vulcan. That's the greatest thing a linguist could do in the Trek world, right? But little did he know that when the next movie, Star Trek: The Search for Spock, came around, and they wanted to have a lot of Klingon dialogue, that they would call him up and ask him to create the Klingon language. He didn't have a lot of specific instructions about creating it, just that Klingon was described as a harsh, guttural language. But what exactly do we mean when we say that? English speakers often describe German as sounding guttural or Russian as sounding harsh, but speakers of German and Russian don't hear them that way. What is it that goes into that impression of a language that Okrand could use to create Klingon? I think he succeeded. If you take a sentence like which means 4,000 throats may be cut in one night by a running man, you probably would describe that as harsh or guttural. Now, research has been done on words that English speakers think sound pretty versus words that people think sound ugly. If you look at these two lists, you'll quickly realize that the list on the left is going to be the positive ones, and the list on the right is negative. Part of that, of course, is what the words mean. Melody and gossamer are pleasant things. Cacophony and flatulent aren't. Jazz doesn't seem so bad. But you'll also notice that there are some sounds that occur more on one side or the other. For example, over in the left-hand list, you see a lot of ol and sounds, which linguists call liquids. And n sounds, those are nasals, and b and d, which we're going to come back to in a moment. On the right, there's a lot of k, g, p, and t. Now, it could just be the case that there are some sounds that people react to less positively, but we're actually going to be able to generalize a little more than that. Other people have used this this kind of sound symbolism when they created other languages. So if you have one group of people that says things like Elin sila lumen omentielvo, and another group that says things like Ash naz dobratuluk, Ash naz gimbatul, Ash naz thrakatuluk, Ag burzumishi krimpatul. You don't really need to be told that the first one is the good guys and the second one is the bad guys. And you'll notice, now that we've looked over that other list, how much is in that first one, and how much g, k, t is in the second. These are, in fact, Tolkien's Elvish and Mordor speech. Now, when we say sounds like k, g, p, and t, what's happening is that air is flowing up from our lungs through the vocal tract, and whenever we speak, we're shaping that with movements of the lips, the tongue, different parts inside of our mouth are touching each other, and that shapes the airflow, which affects the sound. And for these sounds, the flow of air stops altogether. It's cut off by one part of the mouth against another. We call that the point of articulation, where that cutoff is happening. Consonants like this, if you look at something on the right, that's called a spectrogram. And the dark bands show the frequencies of sounds in the imaginary word utu. You'll notice that there's that vertical white column there. That's where the airflow is cut off in the t sound in the middle. Consonants that do this are called stops. They can also be called occlusives. And k, g, p, and t are all stops. More specifically, k, p, and t are the voiceless stops of English, which means the vocal cords aren't vibrating. If you look again at that utu picture and that complete band of white, and then you look on either side of it, you'll see some dark vertical stripes that are very regularly spaced, and those are the regular vibrations of the vocal cords. And they're not happening during utu. If this was udu, you would see a little vibration even during the consonant. So k is pronounced towards the back of the throat, p is pronounced on the lips, and t is pronounced on the bony ridge behind your teeth. Those are the 3 points of articulation we use in English for voiceless stops. B and d, which we saw in the sound symbolism examples, are voiced stops, and maybe they aren't as unpleasant. Perhaps it's just that we don't have the impression of those being as choppy. Now, g is a voiced stop, like b and d, and yet it's often regarded kind of negatively too. This seems to be because k and g are what we call velars. They're pronounced with the back of your tongue raised up towards the roof of your mouth. And it's some of these sounds that are pronounced farther back in the mouth that are described by people as guttural. A sound like h, which is also pronounced farther back and that we don't have in English, is one of the sounds that English speakers often find harsh in German. Okran didn't want to use that k sound, though, because K had become such a stereotype by that point. It was so commonly used in science fiction villain names that he wanted to move away from it. Now, we mentioned that English uses 3 different points of articulation for stops, but other languages use other places in the mouth. For example, that little glob of flesh at the back of your mouth, that's called the uvula, and you can pronounce a stop consonant there. Some languages do. If you look at this map, the white dots are languages that don't have uvular stops, and the blue ones are languages that do. You'll notice that throughout Europe, the languages that you're most likely to have run into, none of them have a uvular stop. But in Central Asia or in the Native American languages spoken in Northwest North America, you see quite a few of them. It sounds like ha or ho. And Klingon uses it in words like nuknech. You may have heard this. It literally means, what do you want? Since Klingon doesn't have a word for hello, because Klingons get to the point, this is often the first thing that you say to someone. If you tell people that you watch this video or that you're interested in Klingon, you'll start having some Star Trek fans come up to you and say, Nuknech, and be kind of pleased with themselves. But that doesn't actually make a lot of sense to do. It really should be the person that someone else came up to saying, Nuknech. So if somebody comes up and says this to you, you could say, Nuktanech shok'e. What do you want? But this is a Starfleet event, and Starfleet is about understanding, and so if it's meant in a friendly way, I would encourage you to take it in a friendly way. Another place that you can produce stops is at the epiglottis, and if you look at the tongue and kind of to the right in this cross section, You can see how that can just cut off the flow of air right there. And this is called glottal stop. We have this in the English word uh-oh, but we don't really use it anywhere else. And if you say uh-oh, you might even be able to feel that little bit of tightening in your throat. In other languages, though, this is just a consonant like any other that occurs in lots of words, like the standard Arabic ektubu, I write, or the Hawaiian name for Hawaii, Hawaii. The glottal stop is written as an apostrophe, historically here. In Hawaiian, the glottal stop is called okina, which begins with the glottal stop, and you get it in handy words like humu humu nuku nuku apua. That's a kind of fish in Hawaii. And if this looks familiar to you, it's because you see it on some of the classroom scenes in Star Trek: The Next Generation. You can spot it up on the screen. The glottal stop in Klingon is also written with the apostrophe, like at the end of the word kapla. It doesn't just end in an ah, it ends in an ah that abruptly cuts off with that glottal stop. Now the k in nukneh and the k in kapla are different sounds. The one written with the lowercase q is a stop, and the uppercase q is something called an affricate that begins by cutting off the flow of air, but instead of just going directly into a vowel, there's some tightness there that causes frication, roughness in the airflow that we can hear. English has some affricates like ch and j. So khapla is something that you might use to wish success to a warrior headed off to battle. Now around this point, people might be going k, p, to, wait, hang on. You said there's no k sound, so how do you say Klingon? And this was something that Mark Okren gave some thought to. We talked a moment ago about affricates like ch or j, and there are other affricates around the world. One of them is tl. It starts with the tip of your tongue pressed against that alveolar ridge behind your teeth, where English speakers say t or d, and then you lower the sides of your tongue and let air flow over them. Tl, tl. This sound, again, is not common in Europe. Okren tried to go beyond the European languages that were familiar to English speakers, but you'll see quite a number of these languages in, say, the northwestern United States. But what happened when people whose languages used tl came into contact with people who had languages that didn't use them? Well, when European explorers met people who called themselves the Klamath, they transcribed that as Klamath with a KL. And to this day, there are place names like Klamath up in the Pacific Northwest. Okren thought it would be plausible if there were people who called themselves Klingon, then perhaps some English speaker would initially write that down as Klingon, and that would become the English word. Now, some people around this point too, these are some sounds that sound exotic to us if we've never heard them. And people might start wondering, well, if some of these languages do have these strange sounds in them, are these languages themselves kind of strange? Are the people who speak them kind of strange? But the fact is that if you speak a language, everything in it seems normal to you. And our English sound th, like in think, or the in this, are actually very rare sounds worldwide. If you've ever met somebody learning English as a second language who said sink instead of think, or duh instead of the, that's because they were substituting a sound that they're more familiar with for one they hadn't yet learned to say. So we've got our share of unusual sounds too, from if you take a global perspective. So in Klingon, this sound tl is spelled TLH, and the word for Klingon is Klingon. You'll notice, by the way, that the I is uppercase. That's meant as a reminder to say this is I instead of E. Klingon. Klingon also has its own grammar. You can't just take the Klingon dictionary and start flipping through it, looking up words, put them together in the same order that they would be in English, and have a correct Klingon sentence. To talk about grammar, we're going to talk a little about subjects, verbs, and objects. And I know for a lot of people, this is probably something you last talked about in 6th grade and haven't thought about since then. So we'll do a quick review. In English, we put the three in this order. And if you have a sentence like, the officer read the book, it's not a very Klingon concept. You can say it, but maybe a better sentence would be, the officer shot the book. Officer is the subject. That's the person who's doing things. The verb is what they're doing. And the object is what gets it done to. So the officer is the subject, shot is the verb, and book is the object. In Klingon, this is pak bachta yash. Pak is book, that's the object, so it comes first. Bachta is the verb, that's what's happening. And yash is the subject, that's the officer. So the Klingon order is the opposite of the English. It's object, verb, subject. The English order, like everything else in English, seems very natural to us. But in fact, worldwide, this isn't the most common ordering of these three elements. The most common is subject, object, verb. If we look at this map, you'll see a couple of them in Europe, but most of these languages are somewhere else. The subject, verb, object ordering that we have is the most common with European languages, such as English, but is also very common in sub-Saharan Africa, South Asia, and some parts of South America. Verb-first languages, as you can see, are rarer. Verb subject object is more common than verb object subject. And when we start looking at the object-first languages, these are the rarest ones of all. Object verb subject is the very rarest, with only 4 languages that do it. And that's the ordering that Okrand chose for Klingon. Since it's the rarest way that you can arrange these 3 elements, it also makes it feel the most alien. In a sentence like, Klingon mach, we are Klingons. We is the subject, and so it occurs last. Klingon mach. Now you might also be thinking back just a little bit and saying, wait, hang on. You said that Mark Okrand created Klingon for Star Trek 3, but wasn't there a bunch of Klingon in Star Trek the Motion Picture? There's a whole scene on the Klingon ship where they're speaking Klingon. And in fact, that wasn't created by Okrand. It was created by James Doohan, the actor we best know for Scotty. He spoke into a tape recorder. Mark Leonard listened to it, and when he was playing the Klingon commander as opposed to playing Spock's dad, he recorded it. But Doohan didn't create any sort of grammar for the language or say which parts of the sentences meant what. When Okrand came onto the project for Star Trek 3, he wanted to make sure that his Klingon was compatible with James Doohan's Klingon. So first he sat and listened over and over again to that scene, transcribing everything that he heard and writing down the sounds. And then he started thinking, how might we break this apart? Which parts of this mean what? In a command like Cha Yirush, stand by on torpedoes. What's being done? Stand by. That's the verb. What's it being done to? The torpedoes. That's the object. And typically in commands in English, we don't have a subject. It's kind of a short sentence. So Okrand deduced that Klingon doesn't use a subject here either. We know that the object is going to be first, so that's cha. Yirush is the verb, and Okrand broke that one down just a little farther too. Rush means stand by, and ye is a prefix that turns that verb into a command. Now, you've probably heard about people doing things like translating Hamlet into Klingon. That's possible in part because even though Okrand created lots of Klingon words, he also created rules that let you form new ones based on the ones we already have. Linguists call this kind of word formation morphology, specifically derivational morphology, where we're creating new words from roots and other meaningful elements. So if you take an English word like unbelievability, even if you had never heard this word, if you know what believe means, you can figure it out by combining the way that all of these other component parts work. And Klingon will do the same thing. In a word like Rol du Kokraj, your so-called beards, which is a very rude thing to say. Rol is beard. Du is a plural ending. It's only used for body parts. Kok means so-called, and Raj is your. It's your if it refers to a group of people, not just one. And instead of having a separate word like we have in English, it uses a suffix for this. There are other languages that come up with long compound words of this sort. I'm going to take a deep breath and take a crack at this one. Czechoslovakia Lashtira Madlik Larimis Don Musiniz. Barely got through it on one breath. This is Turkish, and it means, are you one of the people whom we couldn't make into a Czechoslovakian? If you have gotten interested in the Klingon language from this, well, your next stop really should be to look at Mark Okren's The Klingon Dictionary. It is a dictionary. You can look up English to Klingon, you can look up Klingon to English, but it also includes all of the basic grammatical rules of Klingon. There's even a phrase list at the end of lines from movies or other things that you might want to be able to say. It's sold well, so your library will probably have a copy, but go ahead and invest in one, either a physical one or an Amazon ebook, or wherever ebooks are sold. And if you have any questions for me, you can reach me on Twitter, or you can go to my website, tracycanfield.com. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference. Live long, prosper, and hopla.
Sorry, guys. This stream is going to be basically light today. The next video goes on at 1:30. It's going to be a Region 10's video. And it's going to be a short video, and then there'll be a little bit of time. So between times, if you haven't already checked out, we highly suggest you go and hang out in Gathertown. There's a lot of different stuff going on there. And just like, let me pop this up real quick. Just like there's an After Dark booth that you can check out and check out all the trapdoors. There's a scavenger hunt where you can actually go in, and take a minute sometimes to pop in, but you can check out the different trapdoors that Aaron and Chris and Ed and a couple others made for this area, and do the scavenger hunt and check out the whole thing. There's stuff all over the place you can do in Gathertown, and you can hang out. Right now, I don't have the mics on because I'm broadcasting, but with the mics and video cameras, you can walk up to somebody and talk to them. Like, supposedly this is Steve. I wonder. There's no mic, there's no camera, so not sure. But you can go up, hang out at different people's booth. It looks like the One Fleet booth has a lot of people hanging out. We got booths for all the different guests that have given us content, the sponsors. I believe that the full chat setup is set up, so you can talk to pretty much anybody in the room. But like I said, just like everything else, there's booths everywhere. And if you go around, there's all these little hidden features that are part of the scavenger hunt. So check it out. I know conference room 1, if you go into that and sit in a chair, it'll actually bring up the A feed. If you go out, and like I said, here you go. You see what the A feed's got. You got a couple people up on the top. These are people actually talking for the A feed. You can go out of that, and then you can go over to conference room 2. And conference room 2, which I don't want to hit that trap door. We can pop up in the conference room 2, and this should be our feed. So we can push play. Should. And as you hear, it echoes us. So this is actually conference room 1. It's playing the feed that you're watching right now. But go ahead and explore. There's some game rooms. You can actually have a couple people sit down and play some board games in the game rooms. Or you can check out, last night we were over in Vince's holodeck during the After Dark broadcast. They were having dance party throughout the thing. So go ahead and check out the Gather Town. It's pretty easy. It's 8-bit, just like the old Nintendos. If you played Zelda, you can play this. Those, unfortunately, that's not this. The stuff on this stream isn't the live stuff, so it's going to be recorded. Justin. But like I said, check it out. I've got one of our avatars just sitting here. Unfortunately, because I am streaming, I don't have the cameras or the mics on, but I do have us sitting at the booth for this stream. So let's see. We have 2 more minutes before the next one. Like I said, it's the Region 10. Region 10 video. I'm not sure what it is. From 11:30 to about 11:37. Then we're going to have a short break so everybody can check out the auction, check out the Gather Town, watch the other stream if you want. And then we'll pop back in just before 2 for the Region 13 table read. I'm going to be leaving up the stream so that basically it's a fluid connection. Anybody that wants to pop in and talk during the downtimes, I welcome people. So basically the rest of the feed here is at 1:30 we got Region 10's video. At 2 o'clock we got Region 13. They did a table read. At 3 o'clock we have R3's costuming panel. At 3:40 it will be a Graham Patowski booth demo, because I believe that one's ultra special. If you go to the Graham Kapowski, go into the trapdoor and check that out. But there will be a demo for that. And then we're going to wrap up this feed at 3:50 with Region 11's video. And then I believe at 5 o'clock, the mustard's going to be hosted by Ed. How you doing, Lowell? So I'm going to start up the feed since it's time. And now we're going to see the Region 10 video presentation.
Greetings, members of the 2022 International Conference from the Great White North. It is my privilege, both as a Starfleet officer and lifelong Trekkie, to talk to you today about the pivotal roles played by Canadian actors throughout the 56-year history of Gene Roddenberry's universe. In fact, the Maple Leaf is represented in every version of Star Trek to date, and I believe you'll be surprised at who we found. We'll start with the newest and most anticipated show, Star Trek Strange New Worlds, or SNW. Shot in Toronto and other locations throughout Canada, the first episode of SNW boasts 4 Canadians alone, including several with ties to my home of Calgary, Alberta. American actor Anson Mount, as series lead Captain Christopher Pike, is well known as Cullen Bohannon from the AMC series Hell on Wheels. The entire series was filmed throughout southern Alberta, and Pike's unkempt appearance bears a striking resemblance to Bohannon. His companion in the opening scene, Captain Battelle, is played by Ottawa native Melanie Scrofano, best known for the supernatural series Winona Earp, which was also shot in Alberta. It should be noted that another Canadian portrayed Pike first. Ontario actor Bruce Greenwood played him in J.J. Abrams' 2009 Star Trek and the follow-up Star Trek Into Darkness. Much has been said about Admiral Robert April, Pike's former commander in the USS Enterprise, but giving him gravitas is actor Adrian Holmes of Vancouver, who also appeared in Winona Earp opposite Scrofano. Rounding out the Calgary-centric connection is the biggest casting yet. Calgary native Bruce Horick is Hemmer, chief engineer and an A&R. Horick made history by being the first legally blind actor to be cast in a lead role. He cut his teeth acting on the stage all over Canada, including the storied Stratford Shakespeare Theatre. Horick also enjoys the distinction of being the second Canadian to play the Enterprise chief engineer. James Doohan, the beloved Scotty, was from Vancouver. There are 2 more Canadians in SNW. Toronto-based actor Jia Sandhu portrays Spock's betrothed to Pring, famously performed by Arlene Martel in the TOS episode Amok Time. And finally, actor Dan Ginot hails from William Shatner's hometown of Montreal. Ironically, he portrays one of the most talked-about characters, that of Samuel Kirk, Jim Kirk's older brother. As we've seen, Canada is definitely carrying on the tradition led by William Shatner and James Doohan. Star Trek Discovery, which is shot in Toronto, also boasts several Canadian actors in critical roles. Emily Coots has distinguished herself as Discovery helmsman Kayla Detmer, whose piloting skills are definitely on par with the Enterprise's Lieutenant Sulu. She is joined by Patrick Kwok Chun as Commander Jen Reese, Communications Officer of the Discovery. Patrick has an extensive resume, including appearing in Winona Earp with Melanie Scrofano. The following is a checklist of the remaining Canadians in Discovery, according to Memory Alpha. Sarah Middich, Lieutenant Commander Ariam in Season 1, and Lieutenant Nilsson from Season 2 to 4. Hannah Cheeseman played Ariam in the 2nd season and Ariam's Mirror Universe counterpart in the 3rd season. Mia Kirshner is Amanda Grayson, parent to Michael Burnham and Spock, an iconic role originated by Jane Wyatt in the original series episode Amok Time. Sarah Booth, another Montreal native, she played Luda in The Examples. Famed horror director David Cronenberg, the Toronto-based auteur, has played the enigmatic Starfleet psychologist Kovich in 7 episodes. Alan Van Sprang played Section 31 Captain Leland in Season 2, the man who was eventually possessed by the control entity. Rachel Ancheril, the Toronto-based actor, played former USS Enterprise officer Commander D. Nan. Nan joined a small team commanded by Captain Christopher Pike when he assumed command of Discovery in Season 2. Finally, I will point out that Canadians joined Shatner and Doohan throughout the original series. They include Ontario actor Steve Inat, who chewed plenty of scenery as Captain Garth in Whom Gods Destroy. Ontario actor John Colicos, like Shatner, a classically trained stage performer, portrayed the first Klingon Kur in the episode Errand of Mercy. In many interviews, Colicos reportedly said that he had no clue what a Klingon was until he received a rundown from the director. Kur was a military governor of a planet of meat people who clashes with Captain Kirk and Mr. Spock. Colicos seized on the warlike description and patterned Kur after Mongol conqueror Genghis Khan. His elocution is legendary, especially when he tells Kirk he can't stand a man who smiles too much. Kur proved to be so popular that Colicos reprised the role twice in Star Trek Deep Space Nine. This raises another fascinating Canadian Klingon creation. Oscar-winning actor Christopher Plummer, also a Stratford vet and good friend of both Shatner and Colicos, played the Shakespeare-spouting General Chang in Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country. Who could forget Chang quoting, "Cry havoc and let's slip the dogs of war," as he swoops in to attack the Enterprise. I hope that you've enjoyed my talk and will place your friends to the north in the Star Trek universe. The full list of Canadians is available on Memory Alpha. Thank you, and live long and prosper.
So, we'll be back in at 5 till 2 when our next broadcast goes. Sorry, I tried to talk without the mute again. I got an update. We're at 2315.90. So 2,315.90. And we have included in that is $300 in donations. We don't know if we've gotten any more yet. But right now, the next tier of donations is $2,500, which means I shave my hair, and I believe the Region 10 RC, I believe, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, gets an ice bucket challenge at $2,500. So I popped up the auction again so that I can real quick go over and hit the highs of what's on the high bid right now. The high bid items is the Star Trek Picard Season 2 Admiral badge at $80. The life-size Klingon bath lift for $345. Uh-oh, Jeremy got to bid again. And there's a costume in here. The costume, the Star Trek Picard Season 2 XXL uniform in red is $77.50. And let's go down. What else is at the high? I know that there is the website being done by Jeremy somewhere over here. I know it was here. I've lost it. Yeah, $65. That's in the high bid area. We have a lot of stuff still in the low and no bid area. So please check it out, especially if you want to expand your library. You might be able to get a few paperback books or some of the collector's items that are still up here. The digital watercolor painting that was done for us by the artist, I can't remember his name, Jeff Tolver. That one is going right now for $400. We've got $80 on the sterling silver Delta shield with heart. And let's see. I know I went to the second one, but it popped me back to the first. Like I said, there's still a lot of stuff that is very low and some that have no bids. Check those out and you might be able to find something. And all the money from this goes to our scholarship fund, which if you listened earlier, we had 3 people get a scholarship of $2,500 this year each. Oh, drive safely, James. So a couple minutes from now, and I can load up the next video and have it going. I'm hoping everybody's actually getting to participate in different things, Gather Town, or the auction. Also, off and on, there are going to be different interviews. Some of them are live. Some of the stuff is live. I know we had a lot of people work hard to bring this together. So please check out everything that's going on. Don't just say, hey, here's one stream and sit on it. There's going to be everything. And here's the other thing. If you missed something, our replays are going to be happening an hour after the feed closes. So basically, speaking of Pet Fleet, check out the different feeds. They will be on YouTube. So if you missed like last night, which was about 5.5, 6 hours worth of broadcast, including After Dark, you can go back and watch the whole night. You'll see the bidding war at the end of the evening, and all the different auxiliary departments from last night. Today, we have a lot more stuff going on, and like I said, if you miss a table read or something, the minute that the broadcast ends on a channel, an hour later, it will be up so that you can watch it either on the VIC website or on YouTube. There will be broadcast on both. So let's see, we're right at time. Let me start up this video and you'll be able to watch the Region 13 table read.
Captain's log, stardate 42523.7. We are en route to newly established Starbase 173 for port call. Crew rotation is scheduled, and we will be offloading experiment modules.
Pulaski, LaForge, Data wearing a dealer's shade. O'Brien and Riker are sitting down for the evening's entertainment. Hold it, that's my chair. My luck is always lousy unless I start on the dealer's right.
That would seem to be superstition.
Bitter experience has taught me it's the fundamental truth.
Okay, the game is 5-card stud. Nothing wild. Ante up.
This game is exceedingly simple. With only 52 cards, 21 of which I will see, and 4 other players, there are a limited number of winning combinations.
There's more to this than just the cards, Data.
Of course. The bet will indicate the relative strength of each hand.
Time to pluck a pigeon. Kate starts the betting.
5.
I'm in.
I too.
Call.
The first lot of face-up cards are dealt.
A 7 and a 6 and the ace.
I bet 10.
See that?
Call.
Fold.
Call. Another deal. Riker is showing the 10, Jack, and 5 of hearts. Data has 2 queens and an ace.
I bet 5.
10. Same.
You're 5 and 5.
Data sees the bet. Too rich for me. Final card.
No help.
He gives himself the 4 of hearts. Ooze all around.
I bet 10.
You're 10 and 10.
We discover that Data has a 3rd queen. He looks at Riker.
Is that what is known as a poker face?
Are you playing or not?
I fold.
Riker's whole card was the 2 of spades. Busted.
You had nothing.
He bluffed you, Data.
It makes very little sense to bet when you know you cannot win.
But I did win. I was betting that you wouldn't call.
How could you tell?
Instinct, Data. Instinct. The game is 7-card high-low with a buy on the last card. And just to make it more interesting, the man with the axe takes all.
Starbase 173. Enterprise is docked at a space station. You can see her from the window. Picard is relaxing in the coffee lounge when he sees a woman at the top of the stairs.
My God, Philippa Louvois, and back in uniform. It's been 10 years, but seeing you again like this makes it seem like 50. If we weren't around all those people, do you know what I would do?
Bust a chair across my teeth?
After that.
Oh, ain't love wonderful?
They sit together at a table.
So what are you doing out here?
I'm in charge of the 23rd Sector JAG office. We're brand new. I have no staff, but one terrified little ensign. Hopefully we can make some good law out here.
Anything is possible. So you came back to Starfleet?
Still the most exciting and worthwhile place to be.
You had no reason to leave.
They forced me out.
No, that was your own damn stubborn pride.
When I prosecuted you in the Stargazer court-martial, I was doing my job.
Oh, you did more than your job, and you enjoyed it.
Not true. A court-martial is a standard procedure when a ship is lost. I was doing my duty as an officer of the Judge Advocate General.
You always enjoy the adversarial process more than arriving at the truth. Well, I hope you learned a little wisdom along the way.
You know, I never thought I would say this, but it's good to see you again. It brings a sense of order and stability to my universe to know that you're still a pompous ass and a damn sexy man.
Captain Picard?
Admiral.
Captain Burr, you acquainted with Captain Picard?
Oh, yes, we're old friends. Excuse me. Picard, call me. You can buy me dinner.
Philippa exits.
Captain, it's good to see you again.
Admiral.
May I present Commander Bruce Maddox?
Commander.
He has an interesting proposal for you, but they can wait for a while. We're going to see the Enterprise.
Yes, sir. Let's wait.
Bridge.
Admiral on the bridge.
I was a little surprised at the decision to put a base in force so close to the neutral zone.
As you know, we've had bit disturbances from both sides of the zone. We had to respond when needed. And it won't hurt to have the Romulans know that we're nearby. Well, Captain, I want to thank you for the opportunity. For 500 years, every ship has borne the name Enterprise and become legend. This one is no different.
Admiral.
Oh yes, Captain Commander Maddox is here to do some work on your android. Please take care of him.
Nakamura leaves.
How have you been, Data?
My condition does not alter with the passage of time, Commander.
The two of you are acquainted.
Yes, I evaluated Data when it first applied to the Academy.
And was the sole member of the committee to oppose my entrance on the grounds that I was not sentient.
What exactly will this work entail?
I'm going to disassemble Data.
Observation lounge.
All right, explain this procedure.
Ever since I first saw Data at the entrance evaluation at the Starfleet Academy, I've wanted to understand it. I became a student of the works of Dr. Noonien Soong, Data's creator, and I've tried to continue his work. I believe I am very close to the breakthrough that will enable me to duplicate Dr. Soong's work and replicate this. But as a first step, I must disassemble and study it. Data is going to be my guide.
Data?
Sounds intriguing.
How will you proceed? I will run a full diagnostic on Data, evaluating the condition of its current software. I will then dump its core memory into the Starbase mainframe computer and begin a detailed analysis of its construction.
You have constructed a positronic brain?
Yes.
Have you determined how the electronic resonance across the neural filaments is to be resolved?
Not precisely.
That would seem to be a necessary first step.
I am confident that I will find the answer once I examine the filament links in your anterior cortex.
But if the answer is not forthcoming, your model will not function.
I do not anticipate any problems.
You seem a little vague on the specifics.
What are the risks to Commander Data?
Negligible.
Captain, I believe his basic research lacks the specificity necessary to support an experiment of this magnitude.
Commander Data is a valued member of my bridge crew. Based on what I've heard, I cannot allow Commander Data to submit himself to this experiment.
I was afraid this might be your attitude, Captain. Here are Starfleet's transfer orders separating Commander Data from the Enterprise and reassigning it to Starbase 173 under my command. Data, I will see you in my office tomorrow at 0900 hours.
Ready room.
Come.
Data enters.
You sent for me, sir.
Data, please sit down. Well, we have a problem.
I find myself in complete agreement with that assessment of the situation, sir.
Your service to this ship has been exemplary. I don't want to lose you.
I will not submit to the procedure, sir.
Data, I understand your objections, but I have to consider Starfleet's interests. What if Commander Maddox is correct? There is a possibility that many more beings like yourself could be constructed.
Sir, Lieutenant LaForge's eyes are far superior to human biological eyes. True? Then why are not all human officers required to have their eyes replaced with cybernetic implants? I see. It's precisely because I am not human.
That will be all, Mr. Data.
Data leaves.
Computer, pull all relevant information with regard to Starfleet regulations on the transfer of officers.
Working. JAG office.
My God, twice in as many days.
I need your help.
An historic moment.
I have been trying to make sense of this gobbledygook, but it's beyond me. The fact is, my android officer, Data, is being transferred compulsorily to be made a part of a highly dangerous, ill-conceived experiment, and I want it stopped.
You can refuse to undergo the procedure, but we can't stop the transfer.
Once this Maddox has got control of Data, anything could happen. I don't trust that man.
We all agree to certain risks when we join Starfleet.
Yes, acceptable risks, justified risks, but I cannot accept this. It's unjustified. It's unfair. He has rights.
All this passion over a machine?
Don't start. This is important to me. Is there an option?
There is always an option. He can resign.
I see.
So you came to me for help?
Yes, I came to you. You're the JAG officer for this sector. I had no choice but to come to you.
Wait. I didn't mean it that way. I'm glad you felt you could, well, come to me.
The word trust just isn't in your vocabulary, is it? Good try. 9 out of 10 for effort.
I wish things were different.
I wish I could believe that.
Data's quarters. Data is packing a very small carry case. Its contents include a small hollow projector that displays an image of Tasha Yar, an impressive collection of medals. He puts a book on the desk and then Maddox walks in without even knocking. Data comes back with another item to find Maddox reading.
When in disgrace with fortune in men's eyes, I alone beweep my outcast state. Is it just words to you, or do you fathom the meaning?
Shakespeare's Sonnet 29.
Is it not customary to request permission before entering an individual's quarters?
I thought that we could talk this out, that I could try to persuade you. Your memories and knowledge will remain intact.
Reduced to the mere facts of the event, the substance, the flavor of the moment could be lost. Take games of chance.
Games of chance?
Yes, I had read and absorbed every text and textbook on the subject and felt myself well prepared for the experience. Yet, when I finally played poker, I discovered that the reality bore little resemblance to the rules.
And the point being?
That while I believe it is possible to download the information contained in my positronic brain, I do not think you have acquired the expertise necessary to preserve the essence of those experiences. There is an ineffable quality to memory which I do not believe can survive your process.
Ineffable quality. I'd rather hope we'd have done this together, but one way or the other, we are doing it. You are under my command.
No, sir. I am not under your nor anyone else's command. I have resigned from Starfleet.
Resigned? You can't resign.
I regret the decision, but I must. I am the culmination of one man's dream. This is not ego or vanity, but when Dr. Soon created me, he added to the substance of the universe. If by your experiment I am destroyed, something unique, something wonderful will be lost. I cannot permit that. I must protect his dream.
And so must I. But keep packing, because one way or the other, you will be reporting.
Captain's Log Supplemental. Commander Bruce Maddox, having been thwarted by Data's abrupt resignation, is now seeking a legal remedy for his woes. Captain Louvois has requested my presence at these discussions.
JAG office.
Your response is emotional and irrational.
Irrational?
You're endowing Data with human characteristics because it looks human. But it is not. If it were a box on wheels, I would not be facing this opposition.
Overt sentimentality is not one of Captain Picard's failings. Trust me, I know.
I will tell you again, Data is a valued member of my crew. He is an outstanding bridge officer.
If I'm permitted to make this experiment, the horizons for human achievement become boundless. Consider every ship in Starfleet with a Data on board, utilizing its tremendous capabilities, acting as our hands and eyes in dangerous situations.
Look, you're preaching to the choir here. Why don't you just get to the point?
Data must not be permitted to resign.
Data is a Starfleet officer. He still has certain rights.
Rights. I'm sick to death of hearing about rights. What about my right to not have my life work subverted by blind ignorance?
We have the rule of law in this federation. You cannot simply seize people and experiment with them to prove your pet theories.
Thank you.
Now you're doing it. Data is an extraordinary piece of engineering, but it is a machine. If you permit it to resign, it will destroy years of work in robotics. Starfleet does not have to allow the resignation.
Commander, who do you think you're working for? Starfleet is not an organization that ignores its own regulations when they become inconvenienced. Whether you like it or not, Data does have rights.
Let me put it another way. Would you permit the computer of the Enterprise to refuse a refit?
That's an interesting point. But the Enterprise computer is property. Is Data?
Of course.
There must be law to support this position.
Then find it. A ruling with such broad-ranging implications must be supported. Philippa, I hope you will use the same zeal that you did in the Stargazer court-martial.
10 forward. Data is very neatly undoing the wrapping of a present.
Data, you're supposed to rip the wrapping off.
With the application of a little care, West, the paper can be utilized again.
Data, you're missing the point.
Now that he has carefully removed it, Data rips the paper in half and reads the book title.
The Dream of the Fire by Corrupt. Thank you, Worf.
It was in the hands of the Klingons that the novel attained its full stature.
I couldn't disagree more. We'll save that argument for another day.
Excuse me, please.
Data goes over to Geordi, who is sitting on his own.
Is something wrong?
Of course there is. You're going away.
No one regrets that necessity more than myself. You do understand my reasons.
Sure, I understand. I just don't like you being forced out. It's not fair.
As Dr. Pulaski would, at this juncture, no doubt remind us, life is rarely fair.
Sorry, that just doesn't make it any better.
I shall miss you, Geordi.
Yeah, me too. Take care of yourself, Data.
JAG office. Picard and Riker are present to hear the outcome of the research into Data's status.
I have completed my research. Based on the Acts of Cumberland passed in the early 21st century, Data is the property of Starfleet. He cannot resign, and he cannot refuse to cooperate with Commander Maddox.
What if I challenge this ruling?
Then I shall be required to hold a hearing.
Then I so challenge. Convene your hearing.
Captain, that would be exceedingly difficult. This is a new base. I have no staff.
But surely, Captain, you have regulations to take care of such an eventuality.
There are. I can use serving officers as legal counsel. You, as a senior officer, would defend.
Very good.
And the unenviable task of prosecuting this case would fall on you, Commander, as the next most senior officer of the defendant's ship.
I can't. I won't. That is my comrade. We've served together. I not only respect him, but I consider him my friend.
When people of good conscience have an honest dispute, we must still sometimes resort to this kind of adversarial system.
You just want me to prove that Data is a mere machine. I can't do that. I don't believe in it. I happen to know better. So I'm neither qualified nor willing. You're just going to have to find someone else.
Then I will rule summarily based upon my findings. Data is a toaster. Have him report to Commander Maddox immediately for experimental refit.
I see. I have no choice but to agree.
Good, and I expect you to do your duty in that courtroom. If I find for 1 minute that you're not doing your best, I will end this then and there.
You don't have to remind us of our duty. You just remember yours.
I have never forgotten it. Not then, and certainly not now.
Ready room.
Come.
Data enters.
Data. Captain Louvois has issued a ruling. You are the property of Starfleet Command. You cannot resign.
I see. From limited options, I'm reduced to none, or rather one. I can only hope that Commander Maddox is more capable than it would appear.
Data, you're not going to submit. We're going to fight this. I challenge the ruling. Captain Louvois will be compelled to hold a hearing. She may be overly attached to the letter of the law, but I suspect that she still understands its spirit. We will put to rest this question of your legal status once and for all. Now, I have been asked to represent you, but if there is some other officer with which you would feel more happy?
Captain, I have complete confidence in your ability to represent my interests.
Computer room.
Computer, identify Riker, William T. Access code Theta Alpha 2737 Blue enable.
Riker, William T. Identified. Ready.
Access all available technical schematics on Lieutenant Commander Data.
Working. Then up pops emergency manual control and Data's off switch location is displayed. Riker is fascinated with this new information, then realizes the implication. Courtroom.
This hearing, convened on stardate 42527.4, is to determine the legal status of the android known as Data. The Office of the Judge Advocate General has rendered a finding of property. The defense has challenged. Commander Riker?
Your Honor, there is only one issue and one relevant piece of evidence. I call Lieutenant Commander Data.
Data goes to the witness chair and puts his hand on a scanner on the table. Verify. Lieutenant Commander Data. Current assignment, USS Enterprise. Starfleet Command Decoration for Valor and...
Your Honor, we'll stipulate to all of this.
Objection, Your Honor. I want this read. All of it.
Sustained.
Valor and Gallantry. Medal of Honor with clusters. Legion of Honor. The Star Cross.
Proceed, Commander.
Commander, what are you?
An android.
Which is?
Webster's 24th Century Dictionary, 5th edition, defines an android as an automaton made to represent a human being.
Automaton. Made. By whom?
Sir?
Who built you, Commander?
Dr. Noonien Sen,
And he was?
the foremost authority on cybernetics.
More basic than that. What was he?
Human?
Thank you, Commander. What is the capacity of your memory and how fast can you access information?
I have an ultimate storage capacity of 800 quadrillion bits. My total linear computation speed has been rated at 60 trillion operations per second.
Your Honor, I offer in evidence prosecution exhibit A, a rod of par steel, tensile strength 40 kilobars. Commander, would you bend that?
Objection. There are many life forms possessed of mega strength. These issues are not relevant to this hearing.
I'm afraid I can't agree. Captain, proceed with your demonstration, Commander.
Data bends the heavy rod neatly into a U shape.
Drawing on the log record of the construction of the prototype android Data, also constructed by Noonien Soong, I request to be allowed to remove Commander's hand for your inspection.
Objection. It doesn't matter. Objection withdrawn.
Proceed, Commander.
I'm sorry.
Riker twists and pulls off Data's left forearm and hand.
The commander is a physical representation of a dream, an idea conceived of by the minds of a man. Its purpose is to serve humans, human needs, and interests. It's a collection of neural nets and heuristic algorithms. Its responses dictated by an elaborate software program written by a man. Its hardware built by a man. And now, a man will shut it off.
A flick of the hidden off switch, and Data slumps across the table.
Pinocchio is broken. Its strings have been cut.
A horrified silence descends.
I request a recess.
Granted.
10 forward. There's only one customer present sitting at the bar.
Do you mean his argument was that good?
Riker's presentation was devastating. He almost convinced me.
You've got the harder argument. By his own admission, Data is a machine.
That's true.
You're worried about what's going to happen to him.
I've had to send people on far more dangerous missions.
Then this should work out fine. Maddox could get lucky and create a whole army of Datas, all very valuable.
Oh yes, no doubt.
He's proved his value to you.
In ways that I cannot even begin to calculate.
And now he's about to be ruled the property of Starfleet. That should increase his value.
In what way?
Well, consider in the history of many worlds, there have always been disposable creatures. They do the dirty work. They do the work that nobody else wants to do because it's too difficult or too hazardous. And an army of Data is all disposable. You don't have to think about their welfare. You don't have to think about how they feel. Whole generations of disposable people.
You're talking about slavery.
I think that's a little harsh.
I don't think that's a little harsh. I think that's the truth. But that's a truth we have obscured behind a comfortable, easy euphemism. Property. But that's not the issue at all, is it?
Courtroom.
Commander Riker has dramatically demonstrated to this court that Lieutenant Commander Data is a machine. Do we deny that? No, because it is not relevant. We too are machines, just machines of a different type. Commander Riker has also reminded us that Lieutenant Commander Data was created by a human. Do we deny that? No. Again, it is not relevant. Children are created from the building blocks of their parents' DNA. Are they property? I call Lieutenant Commander Data to the stand.
Picard has Data's case with him. He opens it.
What are these?
My medals.
Why do you pack them? What logical purpose do they serve?
I do not know, sir. I suppose none. I just wanted them. Is that vanity?
And this?
The book.
A gift from you, sir.
Do you value it?
Yes, sir.
Why?
It reminds me of friendship and service.
Picard activates the hologram of Tasha.
And this? You have no other portraits of your fellow crew members. Why this person?
I would prefer not to answer that question, sir. I gave my word.
Under the circumstances, I don't think Tasha would mind.
She was special to me, sir. We were intimate.
Philippa
Thank you,
sits up.
Commander. Thank you, Commander. I have no further questions for this witness.
Commander Riker, do you want to cross?
I have no questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. You may step down.
I call to the stand Commander Bruce Maddox as a hostile witness.
Verify. Maddox, Bruce, Commander. Current assignment, Associate Chair of Robotics, Daystrom Technological Institute. Major papers.
Yes. Suffice to say he's an expert. Commander, is your contention that Lieutenant Commander Data is not a sentient being and therefore not entitled to all the rights reserved for all life forms within this Federation?
Data is not sentient, no.
Commander, would you enlighten us? What is required for sentience?
Intelligence, Self-awareness, consciousness.
Prove to the court that I am sentient.
That's absurd. We all know that you're sentient.
So I am sentient, but Data is not.
That's right.
Why? Why am I sentient?
Well, you are self-aware.
Ah, that's the second of your criteria. Let's deal with the first, intelligence. Is Commander Data intelligent?
Yes, yes. It has the ability to learn and understand and cope with new situations.
Like this hearing.
Yes.
What about self-awareness? What does that mean? Why am I self-aware?
Because you are conscious of your existence and actions. You're aware of yourself and your own ego.
Commander Data, what are you doing now?
I'm taking part in a legal hearing to determine my rights and status. Am I a person or property?
And what's at stake?
My right to choose, perhaps my very life.
My rights, my status, my right to choose, my life. It seems reasonably self-aware to me, Commander. I'm waiting.
This is exceedingly difficult.
Do you like Commander Data?
I don't know it well enough to like or dislike it.
But you admire him.
Yes, it's an extraordinary piece of
Engineering and programming? Yes, you've said that, Commander. You have devoted your life to the study of cybernetics in general?
Yes.
And Commander Data in particular?
Yes.
And now you propose to dismantle him.
So that I can learn from it and construct more.
How many more?
As many as are needed. Hundreds, thousands if necessary. There is no limit.
A single data, and forgive me, Commander, is a curiosity, a wonder even. But thousands of datas? Isn't that becoming a race? And won't we be judged by how we treat that race? Now tell me, Commander, what is data?
I don't understand.
What is he?
A machine.
Is he? Are you sure?
Yes.
You see, he's met 2 of your 3 criteria for sentience. So what if he meets a third? Consciousness, in even the smallest degree. What is he then? I don't know. Do you? Do you? Do you? Well, that's the question you have to answer. Your Honor, the courtroom is a crucible. In it, we burn away irrelevancies until we are left with a pure product, the truth for all time. Now, sooner or later, this man, or others like him, will succeed in replicating Commander Data. And the decision you reach here today will determine how we will regard this creation of our genius. It will reveal the kind of people that we are, what he is destined to be. It will reach far beyond this courtroom and this one android. It could significantly redefine the boundaries of personal liberty and freedom, expanding them for some, savagely curtailing them for others. Are you prepared to condemn him and all who come after him to servitude and slavery? Your Honor, Starfleet was founded to seek out new life. Well, there it sits, waiting. You wanted a chance to make law. Well, here it is. Make a good one.
It sits there looking at me, and I don't know what it is. This case has dealt with metaphysics, with questions best left to saints and philosophers. I'm neither competent nor qualified to answer those. I've got to make a ruling, try to speak to the future. Is Data a machine? Yes. Is he the property of Starfleet? No. We have all been dancing around the basic issue. Does Data have a soul? I don't know that he does. I don't know that I have. But I have got to give him the freedom to explore that question himself. It is the ruling of this court that Lieutenant Commander Data has the freedom to choose.
Data walks over to Maddox.
I formally refuse to undergo your procedure.
I will cancel that transfer order.
Thank you. And, Commander, continue your work. When you are ready, I will still be here. I find some of what you have proposed intriguing.
Data leaves.
He's remarkable.
You didn't call him it.
Maddox leaves.
You see, sometimes it does work.
Philippa, dinner?
You buying?
Observation lounge.
Sir, there is a celebration on the holodeck.
I have no right to be there.
Because you failed at your task.
No, God, no. I came that close to winning Data.
Yes, sir.
I almost cost you your life.
Is it not true that had you refused to prosecute, Captain Laveau would have ruled summarily against me?
Yes.
That action injured you and saved me. I will not forget it.
You're a wise man, my friend.
Not yet, sir. But with your help, I am learning.
Okay, you got to repeat what you thought of that video live, not just while we're muted.
That was very good. I like the way they did it.
Dude, I enjoyed that. The only thing I would have probably wanted to do differently next time is make it multi-regional so that it would be a cast worldwide. You know,
Oh, yeah.
Do a global table read.
Well, in that case, why don't we organize doing Drumhead?
Which one's Drumhead?
That's the one where they go after someone whose family in the distant past was Romulan.
Ah.
And Picard does his great speech about Judge Seti.
I'd love
and
to.
the woman stands up and says, I brought down more bigger men than you, Picard.
I'd love to do a couple of the TOS one, especially if we can get a couple Scots in there.
There you go. That'll work.
Incoming message.
Go away, guys.
But like I said, we got some pretty awesome news. Last night we did that opening, and there was 508 views streamed 18 hours ago for our welcome, that 5 to 6 hour stream. So like I said, 508 people worldwide. That's making it one of the biggest international conferences that Starfleet has ever had. So with 500 and I think 10 registered people, doing an awesome job. So again, they do have a little bit of break time with it, and I'm looking. Please, if you have any time and you haven't checked it out, check out Gather Town. It's a pretty nice little area, especially if you got your chapter together. Y'all can go, and there is a game room where you can actually play board games. They've got card games set up on the table.
Yeah. And
if you got a little bit of money to donate to the scholarship, check out the auction. Right now, as of last, it was $2,300 that we've raised between donations and the auction. Remember, at $2,500, another regional coordinator gets an ice bucket challenge, and I make my hair disappear.
I'd make mine disappear, but that was decades ago.
Yeah, but I'm hoping that it's grown long enough in the back where I got at least 10 inches. And if there is 10 inches, we'll not only be doing something for the auction, we'll send whatever's 10 inches to Locks of Love so that they can help make some wigs for some sick people. Yes. So we will be back at 3 o'clock to introduce the Regional 3 costuming panel. After that, we'll have a tour booth of the Grand Patowski's booth, and then the Region 11 video. is going to happen. And that will conclude our broadcast this year. But we are going to go for a short break, and we'll be back in 20 minutes. So
I would like to apologize before we cut it off, because I've been in and out, barely grazing agents. But that's because we're planning a party and then a special presentation at Sci-Fi Bartow. And I am building a 1-to-1 size antimatter injector core, which is turning into a nightmare because my hot glue gun died.
yeah, and if you got a medical thing, Drew's going to have to take apart his little sample containers, storage containers, and do a how-to one day.
Yeah,
for
because it's really quite simple. As a matter of fact, greatest source is Dollar Tree. Bubble wand, just paint it silver. There's the tray. This becomes the top and it's assembled. We've got a puck light in the bottom, a 3D printing filament spool.
Pretty much any spool could do.
Any kind of a larger spool. This is just clear plastic. And these are
pull floats,
flower rings that you pick up at Dollar Tree in the
oh, those are flower rings. Okay.
Yeah, these are for flowers, for making little wreaths or whatever. And it's all just painted silver.
You should show the finished product.
And then they also have these crazy little spongy animals. That we hang from in there.
Oh, that's not the right controller.
For what? Oh, its light is over here.
I got it. Oh, you took the, oh.
This light comes up. It hasn't been secured yet. Hang on, I need to make a space. Let's see. Okay, we're not doing sunflower seeds in that.
So then you have your little sample container for your med office.
How's that?
Well, hold on. There. And as you see, it looks kind of like the little samples on TOS or actually Enterprise. Dr. Phlox's samples.
Yeah, essentially any science fiction show would work for anything.
So that's just a little bit of a hint. So like I said, we'll be back in about 18 minutes. Okay, how's everybody doing? We'll be broadcasting in a minute. Actually, about 4 minutes. But I hope everybody's been having fun, getting a lot of information. enjoying the guest speakers. I know on this channel we had a class on Klingon, and let's see, a video from R10, table read from R13, and we'll be coming up on the costuming panel. I did see Steve pop in for a second and pop out, but we were kind of on break. But like I said, I hope everybody's having fun. And if you don't have something to watch, like I said, check out GatherTown. There are games. There's all different types of things. Do the scavenger hunt. There's rooms hidden throughout the whole building. There's little trap doors all over the place. So if you do the scavenger hunt, it'll take you all over, and you'll actually see the massive world that was created. So it's not like it's one or two rooms that you go in. It's got a library. I know that sometime today, I've got to look it up, but sometime today we'll be they'll be doing a little get together for the Starfleet Academy, and they'll be actually hanging out in the different offices. So let me real quick pull that up. I can give you a heads up when that's going to happen. Marine muster is between 5 and 6 o'clock. Fleet awards are going to be at 5:45 to 6. VCS candidate Q&A is going to be 6 to 7:05. And at 7 to 7:30, there'll be an open house for the Academy. Like I said, they'll be actually hanging out in the Academy room that's built in GatherTown. So if anybody wants to talk to the people that volunteer to help out with the Academy, that's the time. You can actually get a one-on-one, talk to them, and have fun. But there'll be videos going on with a few of the still special guests throughout the evening. All the way up, there's programming all the way to 9 o'clock tonight. And the online auction closes sometime around 11 or so, but it does 2-minute intervals. And if somebody bids and outbids you, you get a chance to bid back. So like I said, who knows? That bat lift might be on bid till the next time we have an IC at if the war from last night happens again. Oh, Robert said if you go in right now, there are some people hanging out in the Academy area right now, so you can even talk to them now. No problem, Sarah. And it has been fun. Last night, like I said, we had 508 people over that view the opening ceremonies and check out all the different auxiliaries, which a lot of people put a lot of hours in to making those videos for you. And they also look at the editors. You got Ed, you got Chris, you got Randy. Jerry learned how to edit so that he can do the video. So all these videos here were sent to us, and then they were edited to set up for this broadcast and upload. So if you get to talk to any of the people listed as VIC staff, please thank them for this, because it was a definite labor of love. So I'm going to pop up the Region 3 costuming panel, and you get to watch that, and I'll be back right after it to introduce the next thing.
Greetings, everyone. Thank you for coming. Sorry we're late for the panel. We're trying to come back from lunch and grill all of our stuff, but we're here. It's similar. If anybody saw our panel from last year, somewhat similar to what we have, but some new additions as well. My name is Commodore Jason Davis, USS Masamune, my executive officer #1.
Piazza.
So thank you guys for coming today. So it's about costuming, specifically about Star Trek. So everybody has seen different costumes. There's different costume manufacturers over the years. Rubies, a lot of Chinese imports, some homemade from patterns by taking photos of the original costumes out at conventions or I guess at
Or just watching
museums.
the movies,
The movies or at the museums will have the actual costumes there for display and stuff. So what we're going to show you is the differences and what costumes are available to us as a Star Trek fan to wear at conventions, summits, maybe even out in the general public if you wanted to. Our recruitment is a good thing because when you ever do a recruitment table, the best thing to pull people in is show up in costume. So
gotta look sharp.
If you don't have one, t-shirt is good, but costume helps a lot because that kind of basically the big selling point about being in a Star Trek club. You get to wear a cool costume or somewhat more cosplay a character to that particular era. So there's quite a few different eras: TOS, TNG, Enterprise, Discovery, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, Lower Decks, Picard, I think Prodigy, the TOS animated series, but they're kind of the same as TOS. So all different flavors. So you get to pick from everything. So they're not, and you can pick Klingons, Gorn, and Dorians, different races, Borg, whatever you want to be. So we're going to have to share my experiences over the last 30 years of being in Trek. So this is my newest costume I had created because I have zero sewing skills, but this is the Wrath of Khan version of the costume. So different. You want to look, one of the books that came out, they kind of helped with a lot of the manufacturers or people who wanted to create the costumes, the cosplayers. Stencil Guide shows you everything in great detail about how to create the monster.
What's the full name of it?
Cosplayer's Essential Guide, Volume 1, The Monster Maroon. And you get this on Amazon. And normally...
It's that a camera so they can also see that one on... Yeah, so you can find that one on Amazon. Great book. I actually thumbed through it on my way up here. They go over materials, cuts, how to cut the fabric to get it out, for all the seamstresses that are here. They talk about, using freight check or, anything like that. The materials that they're using for even the ornamentation. It's a really good book. So,
and that's the only book I ever seen that pick one particular costume and it's like, we're going to drill down to the stitch and to the fabric and to the threads, the boots, the ranks, on the back of my thing, the security device, which I had 3D printed because I couldn't find anything out there. It was like, okay, hey, can you 3D print this? Yeah. Then it glued it on, everything, and turned out perfect. So, but it talks about everything on particularly the Monster Maroon. So that's another great.
Do they have other editions with different uniforms?
Not yet. That's the one they've had so far and stuff. The only thing that's even close is the Star Trek costumes book. That'll show you in detail.
Should I see if I can hold it up again for her?
You can
and
get
we
this.
can pass these around so you guys can flip through them too.
And it's usually retails for $60, but the detail of going through the costumes and everything is just mind blowing, especially Klingons, things of that nature. So this is another great resource to try. There's patterns out there as well. Also on Facebook, there's various groups that you can join. I think 1701sd.com or something like that has a lot of material for costuming. And there's other groups. There's a Monster Maroon, 2 different Monster Maroon groups. There's a Star Trek costume selling Facebook page. Then there's the particular China import individual that a lot of people buy from.
Kozer Mart.
So that's what, it's cheap, it's affordable. I mean, doesn't look 100%, but pretty darn close and stuff. And she's been constantly putting out, and she always checks in with a lot of the people, and she'll put it out there and they'll say, well, this needs to be changed or this needs to be updated. You need to add this. And she'll go and add it, and it's pretty on, spot on for a lot of their costumes. Yeah, so that's really good. So
and it's really affordable. It's not like top tier materials, you know. Like this is a Kozer Mart. You can see the dress is a little longer than it should be, but I kind of like it because I'm not like being so super self conscious, you know.
But I bought a couple of things that didn't fit, even though I thought my sizes matched to her chart. So
you can message them and give them your measurements, measure it out, and give it to them, and say I wasn't sure how your sizing chart worked, so I went ahead and measured it, and they'll recommend what size. And I did that with the with my lower decks, and it fits perfectly. Like I did not have to alter it at all. All my other ones I did a little bit, but I did not have to alter that one. And she made it specifically for women. Like
yes, they have women and men cuts. Because here's my lower decks. Red shirt. And I think most of these are like polyester.
Yeah.
I believe so. They're real stretchy, so they'll.
So you bend over, you know, I think it's got some give. I know there's some out there that just they don't. So
Yeah, we really don't want in Texas to have the actual worsted wool.
Yes.
Yeah, so you can see the difference, the male and female cut. So she does offer both.
And polyester is forgiving with wrinkles when you're packing.
Yes.
And that's the Picard.
That's the
Picard era.
That's the Picard era.
She's already doing the season 2 as well. Like the various,
like that. I just don't want to.
and she just released the Flag Officer season 2, but those are not shipping until the end of July. So
When you say she, who is that?
Kozer Mart, she runs.
Kozer Mart,
Yeah,
okay.
she runs the. Her particular
I think they work
page.
out of California, but they also are.
She's from China, but she has a sister that lives in California. So sometimes if you do get something that comes up pretty quick, it's because her sister shipped it.
Because she's already got it in stock.
In stock.
Yeah, if you look on eBay, if you check for them, you click U.S. location, it'll show all the stuff that's located in the California warehouse.
Yeah. So, and it's pretty good if you're looking. And like I said, costumes are really, I say, very important and viable if you are going to do a recruitment table or any type of table in the general public. You're wanting to get people into your fan group. You want to make sure that if you do, make sure it's clean, ironed, probably no dog or cat hair on it, and it's not like you just pull it out of the bag and just slap it on. It's like
You are representing the organization. You want to make it look good.
Yes, and these are the T&G pants. And they have the cut, the boot cut down the middle.
Slices there.
Yes. So these are really great. I love these pants. I do have the DS9 jumpsuit. So if
She makes the women's version too for the jumpsuit, the full jumpsuit. It's not like the pants and the shirt like guys wear. She makes the full set with the zipper in the back.
either or male or female.
Yeah.
Or if you don't feel like doing that, she does offer the 2-piece as well. Or if you can't afford the whole thing, it's like, let's get you a top and buy you some black pants and some
And what
black
they run? They
boots.
run like $40 or something like that.
Yeah, with
around
shipping.
there.
So it's still reasonable versus say what I'm probably wearing, which is a higher tier cost. But I have more costumes than this as far as the Star Trek, which I didn't bring all of them. But if you're looking, you first have to decide what era you want to live in, what era you want to display as far as going to conventions, Starfleet events, or your local, if you're doing a blood drive or a walk. That's the thing too. You probably, if you're doing a walk in Texas, you probably don't want to wear what I'm wearing. So you probably want to do shorts and a t-shirt, or however your commanding officers decide how they want you to dress for the, for whatever particular event. But definitely recruitment table, have a good uniform, have it clean, have it pressed, however you want to do it, because you're putting your best foot forward and putting it out there to the general public. Hey, Ken, I know you're a Star Trek fan. Come join us.
And not just the uniform, but also your appearance. You want to make your appearance look sharp too. You don't want to show up with stubble or anything like that. Try to,
Don't want to look like the hobo down the street. Yeah. So, but find out what era you want to, what costume you want to, wear. Okay, I want to do an Enterprise jumpsuit, or I want to do a Wrath of Khan costume. Okay, what budget? It boils down to budget. Where do you want to be? You want to spend $50, $60? Or you want to spend $1,200? So you got to decide that. Then you're like, okay, well, here's the resources. I went to the Region 3 page. There's a resource page that has costumes from every era. Here's where I can find the tips. If you are lost or have a question, then just message us, email us, whatever. We're more than happy. She's more of the sewing side of the costuming that we do. I'm more of the generalized, here, this is where you can get it. This is how you can purchase it. Why? What about this one eBay seller? Probably, did you check and make sure how close, how accurate you want to be? You want to be 100% accurate? Okay, well, you want to go to this vendor on Etsy and get these pips and not the $1.50 pips that you see on eBay. So it all depends on the accuracy. So fan sets have been doing a lot of the most accurate badges. There's some other people out there as well.
Fan sets is right now sold out of a lot of them, and they can't tell you when they're
exactly.
going to
That's because they were at Star Trek Mission and they just couldn't keep anything on the table because they were just flying off the table. So I grabbed everything I could get or what I needed for costumes.
Yeah, because I was trying to buy another a com badge for Picard era, and they're out. And no idea when they'd be coming back in.
And they're awesome. They're about the same size of what we see on the screen used ones as well. And you get lower decks.
Right.
The Picard.
Is that Picard?
Yes, Picard. And some of them I've come across over the years, I've hung on to some of the badges and stuff. This is one, a homemade next gen one that had Velcro on the back. So I know I do not like the stick pins because it messes up the costume and destroys it, but you can use Velcro, or now that we've gotten a little further down the road with the evolution of costuming, magnets. So a lot of the fan sets are magnets. A lot of the stuff on Etsy is all magnets, especially with the rank badges, because all you have to do is just, okay, well, I'm just a lieutenant, then I can just slap another one on. I'm lieutenant commander. So same thing with
This is a piece of corn.
Exactly. So easily, and if you do lose a magnet, or if you're using the individual ones, I know on Amazon, I bought like 100 pack of magnets. So you're always ready for emergency.
They do fall out.
Yeah. So always ready.
That's another thing. Always carry some glue and some like a little repair kit with you.
Yes, like
extra magnets.
Yeah.
Glue, scissors, tape. Just about anything.
I've had the soles of my boots fall out once at a convention, and didn't have another pair. So, but having glue was like, it's a quick fix. So just be prepared because things happen.
And I think research is a key, especially if you're looking for a specific costume or if there's nothing specific like in one of the books or whatever, I've had to go to look at screenshots from Next Generation for a particular. Oh, okay, they wear their pips in a certain area, or they have something that's specific to that costume. So okay, I want to make sure. Some people are like to be movie accurate, and some people like okay, just casual cosplayer. But at least have pressed, cleaned, no dog hair all over the place. They're nice to present to the general public when you're trying to rope everybody in to come join the club that you want to be able to present in a nice fashion. Anything I missed or we can talk about?
Do you all have any questions? Like any other questions on where to get them or how to get the costumes or anything like that? Or any sewing questions? No.
I'll edit myself out of this. Once this panel's done and it's uploaded, I'll put links to all the different costume vendors and Facebook groups in it.
Yeah.
So anyone who wants to go and just directly start researching on their own, they'll be able to do that.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Word document I have is on the quartermaster's page, I believe, maybe on Files or something. I know they posted it to the website, and I think they posted it to the Facebook page.
Yeah.
So, but if not, if you're wanting the document, I'm more than happy to send it to you.
Our like page for the Masamune have it, or is
No.
it just the private group?
Just a private group. So I can send it out to you if you're wanting all the costume looks. I try to put everything I could think of for different eras and pips and the badges as well. So just mainly the on the Starfleet side. So, but if you're looking for something particular like Gorn, Klingon and stuff, you might want to check the other fan groups. I know the Klingon groups. Klingons, you probably talk to them where, hey, where do I get this headpiece, or where do I get the kind of like Worf battle sash or things of that nature. Check with them; they'll have a pretty good link and stuff. But when I try to put everything out there as far as, hey, I want to do the Enterprise jumpsuit, but I'm looking for the little rank pips. Like, hey, it's right on that document. Just click it; it'll take you there and stuff. So, but research is the key. Just go to Facebook page. Go to look up for a particular site. Say the Star Trek uniform, and you can hit the Kozer Mart's particular page, and everybody's very helpful, especially when it comes to measurements. Like, well, her chart says this, and I think I'm a large, but I'm a medium. You can post out there. Everybody's really nice. I haven't seen any derogatory comments or anything of any sort on any of the Facebook pages.
Even the reviews, like some who have bought a costume from her, they would post pictures of them wearing it and say, "Oh, well, this is what I love about it. This is what I don't love about it. Just FYI. Maybe order a size up because it's a little snug. So they've been really very helpful on that.
Especially the review of the new jumpsuits you put out. What do you think of the jumpsuit?
That new Enterprise jumpsuit is absolutely fantastic. Sizing is a little awkward.
It's kind of wonky, yeah.
But the quality of it, I was blown away with.
Nice.
This is the blue Enterprise?
Yes. I've bought
it looks more like a flight suit.
Yes. I bought two prior to that, and we have a mannequin guy. We call him Wet Willie. So we put the costume on Wet Willie, and it's horrible. At least I got my money back from eBay, thank God. But the stuff is paper thin, and they look like they use ribbon.
It's like that windbreaker material.
It is.
Yeah, and it's just like one layer of it. I mean, you snag that thing on a door, it's gonna rip.
And
oh my goodness.
You don't know sometimes if the picture looks like this, but when you get it in the mail, it was completely different. And I was kind of upset about that. But then I bought another one that's kind of in between the windbreaker and Kozer Mart's, and it worked pretty good. Not 100%, but it was a little thinner. But I was in an accident. That thing just ripped all the way across. It just busted open. So, but the new one, it's like almost like coveralls.
Yeah.
Almost exactly like what you see on the show. And seeing the pictures, the reviews from other people, it looks amazing. It looked like they just stepped off the ship. So she does exceptionally well. I mean, it's not 100% because of I guess, the cost of material in China. I mean, if you look at this versus what's on the T&G show, it's completely different. But it's cut the same. It looks the same. So, I mean, definitely not complain about doing that costume.
It'll pass the 10-foot rule. Looks great at 10 feet.
Right.
Yes.
Hey, I like that.
Yes.
Well, what about, have you seen any of the newer ones, like from Strange New World, that has that fabric that's printed with the Delta sheet?
Yeah, I went to.
That's going to be really tricky if you tried to make your own. Where do you get, like, where would you find the fabric? And reproducing that may be difficult.
It's not 100%, but here it's the same way when they did the card. They put deltas in the material. So her first set was just plain red. So the second set she made, there's actually deltas in the material. So that's what she's done.
And it's the same with the Discovery ones, the first one, season 1. She had, I guess, screen printed the gold deltas that come around here, and they look really decent. Again, people were happy with the results.
But if you go look on her page, she already has links for all the Strange New World costumes, season 2 Picard, the Enterprise jumpsuits, and every once in a while she'll post the pips, and sometimes maybe a phaser or something unusual on her page. And click it, it'll take you to the eBay page, purchase it there, and I'd say maybe the jumpsuit almost took 2 months because it's so new, but now I think it's roughly about a month for everything coming from China to here. Or it's a lot quicker. She already has it in California, and it gets shipped to you directly. So she's one of the high reputable individuals that I probably want to buy for. And as far as cost, that's the best cost option.
Is she the one that you can custom anything with? Custom order? Or
I
is
don't
it just
think
specific
you can.
items?
No, it's just specific items right now because people do submit recommendations.
Okay.
Like, could you make this? And they'll show pictures of a specific character that they've seen, or like the most obscure one was the black jacket that Picard wears in the most recent season. It's like a black leather jacket, and somebody took a screenshot and posted it to the group saying, would it be possible to start making some of these? And usually they'll give an answer like, I can send it out to my seamstress, to the tailors, and see what they can do. Or, if they couldn't do it, they'll say, well, we can get access to material. So she's really helpful.
She has tons of costumes, so that's an option. There are other.
She's done for other things too, like other shows and stuff like that. So if you go to the store, there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, there's Star Wars and all type of anime and stuff like that. So, but eBay's one shop, one place you can get stuff. Etsy, you can always look on Etsy because there are some Etsy vendors that sell a lot of accessories. So that's where I've bought a lot of the pips and things. Fansets has, the magnets, and eBay has them as well. So if you have questions about the products, I would just email the individual and they'll be more than happy to answer you and say, well, this is this or that, or how it's made, or usually put in the comments how it's made. But if it's someone specific, just ask them. And then if you have questions as well, you can always ask me, Jeanette, like, well, I'm looking for this. Do you have a particular vendor that people use? We're more than happy to send it. Like, oh yeah, here's the link where you can buy from. Or I'm not sure, but at least I can point you in the right direction. And versus just trying to go, oh no. And I hate doing that to people. It's like, but I'll try to at least get you an answer, like, buy it here, or this is the person you probably want to talk to and stuff. So, but if you have any other questions, the chance.
What about things like makeup? Like being able to do.
I don't know about makeup.
So what about makeup?
Well, like doing like an Andorian. How do you find like blue?
Well, I've tried a few different makeups. Right now, the one I like the most is company Mehron, Mehron. You'll find them on. They've got Amazon. Some of the products on Amazon, but they do. It's like a cake makeup that you take a sponge with some water and you wet it down, and you put it on. And that one's nice because it dries. It's not like grease paint, where it's going to rub off on your uniform and stuff like that. You'll put it on before you uniform, it dries and it lasts a good while. So that's been my favorite so far to use, and that's Mehron or however they say it. Mehron.
Okay.
And you can usually get the Andorian antennas off Etsy. I've seen them on there as well. Some of the Klingon headpieces I found on there as well.
There's also a product, it's called Dermaflage, which is actually a silicone that you can get it on Amazon. You mix two things together and you can select different skin tones so you can get something that's close to yours when you have your makeup on. But if you want to do, with the lines across here, and who is she on DS9? Bajoran, sorry, yeah. If you want to do something like that, it's easy to make those, and it's actually 3D. Yeah, so there's all kinds of kind of synthetic stuff like that you can buy too that's safe for your skin.
Just a little spirit gum. Again, Mehron makes a spirit gum that's pretty decent. And it comes in a big bottle. Like usually you get little tiny ones, but they've got a bigger size bottle. I've had pretty good luck with it. I glued down some Spock ears and they lasted all day. So, and you don't need the spirit gum remover for that one. It kind of just peels right off. So it's not like the traditional stuff where it's like, it just seals on you. This one, it holds pretty well and you can take it off pretty easily. So I like those two. And it's like with the Klingons, they put a little there. It hasn't really affected my skin. I would say do a skin test on anything that you use just to make sure you're not allergic to any of the ingredients. Because I've seen some people have reactions to things. It can get pretty bad,
Especially if you cover your entire.
Yeah.
If you're going to be an Orion slave girl, that's tons of green paint. Yes. So always check, especially check with a vendor. Check in the side headings or something that may before you buy it, because it might say, oh, it has a certain product in there that you may be allergic to. And like you said, do a screen, do something
Do a
somewhere.
skin test.
You probably want to do it like right on your face, but somewhere, okay, it'll work. Then you can go and try it out with the makeup on and whatnot. So, but definitely Amazon you can get stuff. eBay you can get costumes, some accessories.
You know what else? Twinkle Lens puts out great contact lenses. So I have, when I do my, sorry, I am so tired right now. I just can't even, my Deanna Troy black eyes. So I get contacts, they are black. You can get ones that are completely black. You can't see very well. And unfortunately with my blue eyes, when I get the ones that are buyer beware, if you do those contacts, they have ones that have a smaller hole in the middle for your pupil or a larger one. So go for the smaller one if you have light eyes. If you're brown, you don't notice it that much, but they actually make your eyes black. Like your eyes look like they're, yeah. So it's just a great extra
They
piece
probably
of.
make contacts that will, like, if someone wanted to do data.
Yes, but they've got all kinds of stuff, and it's called Twinkle Lens, and they're like $10 for a pair of it's not expensive.
Oh, that's not
So yeah.
What else? Does anybody 3D print or do any of that stuff? I do some of the work, like I do pips and things like that if I need them on the fly. Thingiverse.com, they've got a few free files. They have the phaser files and everything like that. So if you're really handy, crafty, or get somebody to do it for you, you can make the phasers and things like that. And they're pretty decent quality. The ones I've printed have been pretty decent. I just have to do a lot of sanding, filing, and cleaning them up, but it's produced some really good, interesting props to add to your wardrobe.
And talking about props, you want to make sure if you are doing a table or whatnot, and you have props, or you decide you want to carry XYZ, but then I always highly suggest whatever the current situation overall in our society is, or at the moment, you probably don't want to be carrying a rifle or a pistol, whatever, since the Uvalde thing happened. So I know on the Star Wars side, no one's allowed to carry any type of blaster or anything like that. So that's.
And some conventions are not letting you carry. Like there's a recurring event in San Antonio, and the lady that organizes them, she said no fake weapons, nothing. They don't want any of that. So just keep that in mind when you go to an event.
Yeah, you could use communicators or
tricorders.
tricorders.
Yes.
No phasers.
No phasers, blasters.
Batlets.
Right.
No batlets.
No batlets.
No,
Definitely no batlets.
Don't want to lose an eye.
Yeah.
So, but make sure you check with your CO or wherever the point of contact is on your.
Most of the cons will have that posted on their website or something.
Exactly.
They'll mention, what is allowed and what isn't for weapons, or where you need to check in with them, or sometimes they just need to be inspected.
Yeah, I know. I try to refer back. I mean, we're all fan groups. I know on the 501st side, they've put it out to the general public. No phaser, blaster, whatever, until further notice. So by listening to that, and then when it's safe again, they'll post, okay, you can take your blaster rifle. But if you do take anything, don't point it at anybody. Don't stick it in their face. Don't do anything. It's, not
Be safe with it.
PC about, so it's and stuff. So
What I usually tell new members who may not want to spend a lot of money is get your own pair of black pants. Just wear regular black pants that you own, or Dickies, or there's another brand too that works well. But and then just get a top.
Yes.
From one of the vendors off of eBay, because you could get good tops for less than $30, 20, or even less than 20 in some cases.
Yeah.
And that's a good place to start. And then once they start wearing it, and then they want something else or something more, then they can start building the wardrobe or getting the custom made kinds of things later. But just getting them into a basic something to start with. Wear your own black pants, and then just get a top, and that is a good entry point for new people that don't want to spend a lot until they see if they're really going to wear it or use it.
Yeah,
I don't blame them.
Like you said, then it's like, okay, well, I like his costume. Maybe I can spend a little bit more and look a little sharper and stuff. So I just get, like you said, get them into the door and just kind of just move them on. Like, oh yeah, here's this, that, and there's the whole world that you can go in costuming. If you like to sew, hey, you can, find your pattern or look in one of the books and like, I'm going to sew it. So that's always option for you. You're not just stuck with one. So, anything else?
You mentioned kids' costumes. And does anybody know about that?
I've been using, because it's for kids and I'm not gonna spend a lot of money and they're gonna outgrow them. I've honestly been using the Rosie, what is that one?
Rubies. Halloween costumes.
Yeah, Halloween costumes from Party City.
Halloween costumes for kids.
Online on Amazon is where I found most of them, but they'll run you, $30 around there. And then right now they've got a lot of the Kelvin timeline uniforms, because that's really popular. So I've gotten him, a couple of those. And again, just for his pants, some of them come with pants. Some of them didn't. So I just got a pair of pajama pants for them. Because again, their kids are going to be running around. You want anything to...
You don't want to spend a lot to get messed up. Yeah.
Sure. Right. I mean, you can check Etsy as well. Just like, Star Trek kid costume. Or you want to be real specific when you type it in, so you can pull up versus sometimes make it generic, and you got 30 pages to go through to find whatever specific you're looking for. But Etsy is a great place because I found a lot of accessories and people making custom costumes for you if you're looking like, I don't want something off the rack. I want a custom made for me. So you just talk to the person, the seller, and you can send in all your measurements, and they will be able to get a custom costume. Because that's what I did with this one. I sent them all the measurements, and I think it came out pretty good. I think.
And speaking of measurements, get yourself one of those measuring tapes, those fabric ones that seamstresses use. It's always good to have a couple of those on hand. Know where to take the measurements. It's different for men and women. Like, and know what's the difference between a waist and a hip measurement. There's all kinds of charts. Just Google it. Google the charts, site, how to measure, like measurement charts. And like I put measurement charts for women, and it'll tell you, what the inseam, how to measure your inseam, how to measure your, your top size.
If you don't want to do that, you can go to a tailor. Usually they're at the cleaning place to do alterations and stuff. And you can just ask them. There have been times I've done it twice. I physically went in, hey, I'm looking to get a costume, something done. Can you measure me? And we'll write down all the measurements. And 99.9% of the time, won't charge you for it. So if you're not comfortable doing it yourself, just go to a tailor and all the alterations will do it for you.
Just don't change slightly.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the trick now, isn't it?
Yeah.
What used to be.
Yeah, right.
I'd have to lay off tacos. That's the thing. So, anything else? We'll get ready to cut this panel to a close. I want to thank everybody that's come to join us today. I really appreciate it. It wasn't for you guys asking for costuming references or where to get them or anything about costuming. It was thank you guys for asking and wanting us to be here. So you guys have a great day, and you can email it to you directly too as well. So it has all the links for what you need. So just find us and we'll make sure we get that to you.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Jeanette. Appreciate it so much.
So that was pretty informative. Sorry. We were talking in YouTube while that was going on, and like I said, Sarah says, Black Dickies are perfect uniform pants. Also, the Walmart brand George is pretty awesome. I've been wearing those for years, and they last a long time, and they match up perfectly. She said the work boots, if you're not blousing. Now, I'm going to say this, no matter what pair of shoes you get, make sure you got good insoles, because the insoles that are fit to your style of feet will make a difference. Because if you're like me and have super high arches, it doesn't matter what type of shoe I put on. If I put on the right insole, I'll be able to be comfortable. But find a good pair of shoes. Like Sarah Hayes said, you'll definitely not regret spending a little bit more money. See, Lowell even agrees. Lowell Whittaker says, theirs are the George pants. And Sarah even agrees with me. Insoles changes your life. So if you can't, the ones that are just the throwaway insoles aren't always great, but sometimes if you got a foot doctor, you can go up to the office and get the correct insoles for you for about $45, $50. And trust me, when I use those versus the ones I can get off the shelf at Walmart, oh, it's a night and day difference. So, especially if you're going to be on a con floor for 8, 9, 10 hours, you want a good pair of insoles and a good pair of shoes. Like they said, depending on what con you go to, make sure you're checking out what the rules are. You don't want to take something you can't use. So, I know they were talking about K-Smart on eBay. And Charles said if you have some problems, or Charlie said, DM him, he'll help you. So, and okay. So to add the blood stripe doesn't take that long, she said, to make your Marine costume as well. So the next panel, or the next video we're going to be posting right now is a tour of, I believe, the Grand Petoskey boat. If you haven't gone in Gathertown, this is going to be interesting. I went into it last night, so enjoy the video.
Good day, friends. Fleet Captain Charles C. Carden from USS Grand Petoskey, based out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, saying a quick hello. I was asked to shoot a video to talk about how our chapter has had a lot of success working Comic-Con and Comic-Cons and different events, and adding people to our chapter and raising funds for charity. So set up a little faux booth, as it were, here in the enclosure in our backyard. We in most recent shows have had a donation jug that was actually donated to us by a friend of the chapter for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Michigan, it's very special to us. There's a story behind it. I certainly encourage you to visit our website at ussgrandpetoskey.com and read all about it, and certainly feel free to donate. We've had people put a lot of money into this thing. We raised typically between $200 or $300 per show just with this, and not even really doing anything. But at larger shows, we'll have a larger booth where we have set pieces and photography, and that can certainly help make that go. But even just setting this out can really help further the cause. Everything that we take in is donated to charity. We don't accept money for operating expenses. This is a fan club. We don't really believe in that. In our chapter, different chapters will vary, but that is simply our take on it. We do this for the love of it, and therefore anything that we raise is going to be for charity. Moving on to the booth itself, we try to keep it fun. It does vary, obviously, based on the space that we have. We can have something very tight at 10 by 10. We can have a huge area, in which case we do a little bit more. We will typically have just a little notebook for people that we talk to. Also, my XO, my wife April, Captain April A. Carden, is our kind of gal behind the laptop. She's able to sign people up right on the spot by having access to the SFI website in a situation where we have internet access and are able to do that. If not, we collect, and we always write them ourselves, because if you hand it to someone and let them write it yourself, good luck in decoding, writing down, even figuring out what their name is sometimes. So we get a name, we get an email address. I have a standard template that I use for follow-up. And that usually ends up being very successful. We get people to join the chapter. We've had business cards for the chapter for a long time. We have a huge quantity of those. Those are ordered through Vistaprint. It's very easy. If you have questions, definitely let us know. We're happy to help. We have a multitude of props which you see here that we've acquired from various vendors. Some are Playmates toys from the 1990s. Some are resin kits that I purchased off of eBay, Etsy, so on and so forth. We have the Geordie Bear that we got at Mission Chicago back earlier this year. We also got a Glommer and several Tribbles that are actually custom made by one of the members of our senior staff. And those are fun. Really, anything about a booth is to create a sense of excitement, something that catches the eye, so that you get people over to really engage them in talking about Star Trek. As opposed to Runner, we have this fun flag, United Federation of Planets flag, which we just got off of Amazon. The really standout piece, we got this from, and April could remind me, but I don't even know if either one of us remember, that we had this custom piece that we ordered, and we ordered it very early on. It even has our old chapter logo. This is, again, something that you can get. Vistaprint is an amazing resource for absolutely anything. I think that was probably even the source of this t-shirt, or maybe our site at TeePublic, I don't know, but custom items are really easy to get. But again, we invest our own money in it. We don't ask for donations for those kind of things. Matter of fact, I was able to really acquire very inexpensively from, I think it was Sticker Mule, these keychains that you see here. I think they were $3 each. We're selling them for $2 or $3. And then if I get cash in hand, I put it right back in here, because again, giving back is really what's important in our chapter. So again, this is a small display. It's a sample, kind of what we do. I welcome your questions. Please, visit our website. Drop us an email if you have questions. If we can help you, we're happy to help. Just because we've had success, it's grown our chapter to one of the largest ones in all of Starfleet International. And we just continue to grow because the other methodology, and it's funny, we've had to record this video twice because there was landscaping going on behind us, but something that I mentioned that I think is really pivotal when you have a show is that when you have a table, you need one chair for the person who is going to be potentially inputting new memberships. When we have people to a show, you're there to work. You're there to engage. You're not there to sit on your butt. You're not there to wait for other panels going on. And it's not a bus stop. You know what I mean? If you're there and your ticket of admission is you're engaging with people, you're talking about SFI, you're being conversational about Star Trek or anything. So that's the price of admission, and that's how we get people invested and interested. And that's why our chapter is able to grow the way that it does, because we treat it like I grew up in a family business where working a convention or working a trade show was something I did with my dad all the time. So it's very comfortable for me. I've turned around and I think been successful in passing it along to the people in our crew. So we do it all very naturally. Again, I'd like to welcome, or I would very much welcome any inquiries if there's some ways that we can help. But again, keeping it simple and fun, not flashy and gaudy. So a plain black tablecloth is really the best way to go. Having a table that's not too heavy with bits and pieces of this and that, keeping it very tight and thematic, things related to Star Trek is going to end up being my suggestion. So again, thanks for your time. Hopefully you got something out of this. And again, visit our website or certainly find us on social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. If we can help you, please feel free to get in touch. And that's it. Enjoy the rest of the conference.
Oh, I was wrong. That's a pretty awesome setup on booths, but I'd also add, check with the people around you on the booths. There's a lot of ideas out there and how-tos. We actually set up a banner so that when we're working with other chapters, we actually have their logos on it, and also you can get the QR codes for your area so that anybody that comes up to your booth, scan that QR code, bam, it's right to your Facebook page or website, or even have an SFI one so they can sign up right there, right on their phone. So making sure that we're on time. Got a couple minutes. So the next video is going to be from Region 11. I'm not quite sure what that's about. I know it's a presentation of some sort. But like I said, if you ever have any questions about that, check with a different thing. Batalski talked about cards. We actually have two different types of cards. We have a trifold card that we use that when we have a little bit extra money that actually talks about all the auxiliaries inside of Star Trek. And on the outside, it's got name, number, and email address. And then we have the one that just has their email addresses and our email addresses and Drew's phone number. So basically we got the basic card, which might not be great on the screen, but we can use this to let people know, hey, check out all the what you can do within Starfleet as something that we can give to people like con runners. A convention runner, you can give that to them. And then when you're signing up, they look at what you do and they know where to put you a lot better. They're not going to put you in a basic 4-H club setting. They'll put you right by, say, the Star Trek actual vendors, stuff like that, so that you get a little bit more people coming around looking at you. So, like I said, do that. And if you're, like they said, they have the donation booth, people do volunteer work, let the cons know what you do. That they have sometimes booths that are set aside for organizations that do help with volunteering for different organizations, stuff like that. So now it's time for the last presentation on this channel. So I'm going to load that up and let you see it.
This is Fleet Captain Justin Fitzik, Regional Coordinator for Region 4. Please stay tuned for the next exciting event for your Virtual IC 2022. Warp 3. Step on it.
Hi, I'm Fleet Captain Helen Stooke and I'm the RC of the 11th Fleet. We have 5 chapters in our fleet, a space station and a new chapter that has entered Shakedown. We are proud of our region. We work hard to work together and to work for our chapters and our members. Have a look around, reach out, say hi. Nice to meet you.
She said, do you come from a land down under? Women go and men wonder. Can't you hear that thunder? You gotta run, you gotta take cover. Fine bread from a man in Brussels. He was 6'4" and full of muscle. I said, do you speak my language? He just smiled and gave me a Vegemite sandwich. And he said, I come from a land down under. Just know and mention her. Can you hear the thunder? You better run, you better take cover. Yeah.
Life has drawn you here. Feel the warmth pulling you near. Breathe it in and let it fill your heart. It's like love. Cleanse your soul. Feel it in your veins. Breathe it in your lungs will stay. It's like love. For the first time, you know, makes sense, you know. It's like love, cleanse your soul. Feel it in your veins, breathe it in your lungs, will stay. It's like love. For the first time, it'll all make sense. You know it.
If these lands could speak, what would they say? They would say, welcome.
Kiora. Kiora.
They would invite you in to share this extraordinary part of the world. This place, it's yours too. This land is wide open for sharing. Our culture welcomes all cultures. So let us show you around. Lead you to our natural wonders. and throw you head first into our beautiful countryside. Because what you'll find down here, what you'll hear within our mountains, our lakes, and our people, what you'll discover on your journey throughout this precious land, is that you're welcome here. Make yourself at home.
Hi, my name is Aaron Sharp. I'm the commanding officer of the USS Parallax, based in Brisbane, Queensland, and reporting in for the Regional 11 Summit. This year, the Parallax has been going very well. We have got together for the Oz Comic Con earlier this year, where we successfully recruited several new members into the chapter, and looking forward again to the Oz Comic Con coming up later in the year, and hoping to continue and do the same. We've had a number of great events apart from that as well. We're organising more get-togethers outside of Zoom, trips to the movies, Australia Zoo, some barbecues. We've also been hosting watching of the Strange New Worlds as that comes out through our membership here. We've also had the privilege of birthing a shuttlecraft into a full chapter up in Mackay, with Matthew Perner being the new CO of the USS Pacifica. So that's exciting news as well. And we're looking forward to continuing to recruit new members and extend the chapter and grow it as much as possible. This is Captain Aaron Sharp signing off.
Working. Ready. Accessing library computer data. This computer terminal provides full access to the LCARS computer net. It can be operated both by voice and keypad commands. Awaiting input.
You've been
All right. I hope everybody enjoyed their visit to the land down under. I'll tell you what, it made me want to go and hop on a plane, and well, that would take money. I don't have it. So anybody want to sponsor to send me to Australia? I'd definitely live there forever. Just an update on the auction. We're at between auctions and the donations, we've raised $2,436.65, and that means we're doing really good. That's basically about $70 from one of the scholarships that was given away this year that we've raised just from this VIC. I'm pulling up the auction. Give me a moment, and we'll go over some of the items as my last function with with this VIC. I'll be stepping off, and Ed will be coming on at 5, I believe, and opening up the chat with the Marine Mustard, and there'll still be a lot left to go on. So where is bidding open? Yep. Okay, let me pop this up real quick. Add to stream. So, and so you know, right before the video came off, I asked what the total was, and Sydney pops in and said, "Hey, we just got another 100 on PayPal. So you can either send in a donation through the PayPal, or you can do the auction. Either way, every penny that's raised from the VIC goes directly to the scholarship fund." So right now, lot 1, if you check it out, it's a pretty nice little custom comm badge. It's got $2.75 bid on it. You've got $15 bid on lot 2, which is the Vulcan Cup. You got $2.50 on Janeway. You got $5 on 7 of 9. This is Canadian Star Trek stamp collection. It's right now at $21.40. Handcrafted glass sun catcher is at $25. The model kit is up to $31, which includes the USS Grissom and a bird of prey. The sterling silver Delta shield with heart, Star Trek related, or Star Trek shape, is up to $85. Star Trek inspired sterling silver Klingon Empire, looks like charm, is up to $30. The Star Trek ships to 2294 to the future is up to $20.50. The Discovery costume is up to $51. The Picard at 2 Admiral's badge is up to $80. Strange New World Captain Pike's XXL, that one's up to $45. The Star Trek Picard 2 XXL uniform in red is up to $77.50. The blueprints for Deep Space Nine is at $23.50. The blueprints for the D is $9. The E is $11.25. Voyager is $7.25. The Deep Space Nine USS Defiant is $14. Some of the big ticket items here is the Batless at $345. Sorry. Darth Maul Cat is at $3.75. The Vulcan, what I think is a poodle, but they say it's a cat. Or I'm sorry, Chihuahua, but they say it's a cat, is at $10. Picard cat print is at $10.75. The Klingon Tribbles is at $1, and there's no bid on the other Tribble with the alien. Let's see. The set of 4 custom badges out of Region 20 is at $20. At $40 is the DS9 Nebula painting. Walking Tour of Ireland is at $13. The Icelandic Coasters 2-pack is $26.50. The Picard Season 2 blue uniform is at $60. The Star Trek bag is at $100. The Dominion War campaign collection is at $3.50. The Space Dock Bringington pin is at $5.25. The website, the first website package, which is Jeremy and I think Ken, is at $65. The medium-sized Star Trek shirt is at $5.50. We're going to go. The costuming book is $21.50. The space painting from Region 3 is at $10. The Bajoran earring is at $17. The 2 hats for Trek, one's at $5.25, one's at $1. We got the Hallmark ornaments. You got a Romulan bird of prey, or I'm sorry, that's not a bird of prey. The Romulan warbird is at $5. The bird of prey is at $10. And is that a galaxy? Yeah, the galaxy is at $8. There's another website done by Randy, which he's got a tier system. So the more you spend, the more he does. Right now it's at $6.25. And there is lots of books. They're from anywhere from $0 to it looks like $15.50. You have to go through the lots to look what all's included, because just showing you the picture won't give you the full list. Then we get to a set of 2 stereoscope 3D prints, currently with well, that's weird. Currently that's at $0. You got the Micro Machine DS9 $15.50, Micro Machine Star Trek Limited Edition $20.50, and then you got the big painting at $400. You got a painting of a Targ, I believe. Said the Dishonor of his image at $5, and then the other one is at $0. Cinderella Klingon and her loyal Targ. Score Bunny 11 by 15 digital art, which I'm not sure what anime that's from, is at $0. The Starfleet, there's a couple badges, or a badge, custom badge at $5.25. London tour, museum, England tour with lunch has no bids. Bar crawl in tour and walking tour in South Carolina, Charleston, is at $12.50. The autographed Alkaline Detroit Tigers picture has no bids yet. The autographed Chris Shellis Detroit Red Wings has no bids. And the autographed Bob Gray from Michigan Wolverines, no bids. And the book, I believe it's a book, 100 Sail Boats by Christine Pointe, has 0 bids. The chainmail necklaces and are at $10, all of them. They're different colors. Check those out. And then the handmade Celtic knot star weave bracelet is at $15. Currently, we got some coasters, Star Trek coasters, different ones. There's another picture, I think. Nope, that's the only picture. Those are at $6.25, and then you got 2 different technical manuals. One's at $10, the Next Generation, and then the other one I believe is the original at $29.50. Encyclopedia of Star Trek is at $10.75, and the Star Trek Reader is at $1.75. Inside Star Trek: The Real Story is at $3.50, and Shatner's Star Trek Memories is at $6. So, like I said, if you got the bids, if you got the money to bid and donate to the scholarship fund, that's one way to do it, and it's fun to play around. As we saw on After Dark, Jeremy and David kind of bid up a couple items to donate, and they kind of wanted the items too. So it was an interesting little battle last night. And let me pull that off. And the other thing is at $2,500 at the next After Dark, which is in 2 weeks. I'll be shaving my head. And I'm sure they'll hit it with the numbers I just said, the $2,436. As Randy said, we need $64 more for me to get that, and I believe it's Region 10's RC is getting Ice Bucket Challenge. So keep bidding. Let's get this up. At least cover one of the current scholarships. That way next year we'll have one already set aside. So check out Gather Town, check out the auction, and everything else except for the mustard is going to be on the live feed. So 5 o'clock, Marine Mustard, for all the Marines to get their credit. They got to follow the instructions at the mustard. So y'all have a great night. Thank you for being around for the last 8 hours of me broadcasting. And the interaction has been great. Talk to you later, and live long and prosper.